Well, welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Now, my guess is there's just not enough time in your day to get everything done at home or even at work. Every day you're challenged to get more done with less. It seems that there just are not enough hours in the day, resulting in stress and anxiety, which impact your physical and mental well-being. Well, you're not alone, and we're here to help. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to share with you some great tips on how to schedule those big rocks and rule your technology, all based on Franklin's Covey book, The 5 Choices, The Path to Extraordinary Productivity, to help you get your time and your life back. So let's not waste any time, and let's jump right in. So the 5 choices that the Covey Group shares with us is the acting on the important, going for the extraordinary, scheduling those big rocks, ruling your technology, and fueling your fire. Now, this is actually the third in a 3-part series of our productivity. And on the first episode, we talked about acting on the important. In our second episode, we shared some great tips on goal setting, going for the extraordinary. And today, we're going to talk about scheduling the big rocks and ruling your technology. So, I always like to start with this, just a reminder that being busy is not the same as being productive. Every one of you tuning in today is busy. There's no doubt in my mind. But the question is, are we always as productive as we could be? I like to say there are no lazy folks with us. They've either quit or retired. But just remember, being busy is not the same as being productive. And what we want to share with you is some tips and techniques on how you can take that activity, because you're all active, you're all busy, and turn it into action or being productive. So the runaround dilemma, this is important to wrap your arms around here because this happens to all of us. And that is because we don't know what's really important to us, everything seems important. And if everything's important, being the great people that you are, that just means you have to do everything. And unfortunately, other people, what do they see? They see you doing everything, so then they expect you to do everything. And then it results in doing everything keeps you busy, so you don't have time to think about what's really important to us. And that's this vicious cycle. Because we don't know what's really important to us, we have to do it all. And if we do it all because it all seems important, everyone else sees us busy and doing those things, so they expect it from us. And then when we're doing all this stuff, we never have any time to really kind of plan out what's important to us. And that is that proverbial hamster on the wheel that we've all been there and all just been a part of there. And how do we get off that? Well, it starts with kind of understanding all the tasks that we do throughout the day. And we share this matrix of not important to important, from urgent to not urgent, and understanding that everything we do, we really can put in one of these quadrants to help us better utilize the day. And they go from that quadrant of necessity, that quadrant of extraordinary productivity, down to that quadrant of distraction. And even in this environment, unfortunately, with the advent of social media and technology and the addiction that we all face with that, the quadrant of waste. And what we shared in that first episode is we want to live above the line. How do we spend time in those Q1 and Q2 quadrants? That's really where we start the road to productivity. Then we talked about goal setting, just understanding that we want you to set goals, both personally and professionally. How do you get from X to Y by when? And really success is defined by those goals, and really anything else is just kind of commentary. And then the value of planning, the value of spending time setting goals, and in that Q2, for every minute that you spend in planning, you're going to save 10 minutes on the execution stage. It's a 10-for-1 switch, and it's well worth it. Now, in this final time together on this, we really want to talk about scheduling those big rocks, understanding what are those highest priorities that we need to get done in order to make our day the most effective. And to do that, Covey shares with us a great model, and we call it the 30-10 plan. And we're going to break that down today quickly and share a little bit of that with you. And it starts with really our weekly planning. Do the Q2 weekly planning, taking 30 minutes, connecting with your roles and goals, scheduling those most important tasks, and then really understanding that we're going to organize the rest. And in some cases, understand this, organizing the rest means that we're not going to get everything done. But that's okay when you know what those most important tasks are, because we're going to ask ourselves that big question: what are the 1 or 2 most important things that I can do this week to reach my goals and objectives, both personally and professionally. Now, when you're planning this 30 minutes, you need to pick a time that's best for you. Try to be consistent. Consistency is king when you can schedule that time. I'll share with you that for me, my Q2 planning time, taking that 30 minutes, most times, 9.5 out of 10 times, it is going to be on Sunday evening as I'm kind of winding down the weekend, having some time, kind of regrouping, thinking about the week ahead that for me starts on Monday. Yours could be different. It could be any day, but pick that time. And it doesn't make you perfect, but it gives you a time to spend on that 30 minutes. Now look, sometimes I'm busy with family, sometimes I have things going on Sunday evening. I don't always get that Q2 time on Sunday evening to do my 30-minute planning, but I know when I miss it. I can feel when I miss it. So I have to get up early on Monday so I don't start the week off on the wrong note there. So take that 30 minutes, find a time that works for you, and just start the process. That alone is just going to go miles and miles on improving your productivity. Then the next step is, once you've identified that 30-minute planning time, is setting some time each day to take that last 10 minutes and schedule out to really close the day. Identify those few must-dos and really kind of organize the rest. And that's just not letting the day end on its own terms, letting the day end on your terms. And when that ends, it could be different. Your schedule may be that the day ends late at night. Yours could be ending early in the morning. It's all just relevant to you and your business and the roles that you have. For me, it could be at the end of the day before I drive home or before I go back to the hotel if I'm working remote, is just taking that 10 minutes, clearing my head, closing out the day, identifying what's really important, getting rid of the things that aren't. Covey says, don't sort gravel, focus on those big rocks, really helping me to organize the rest and start in the day so I can start the next day fresh. Because folks, when you take the last 10 minutes of your day and you recap it, it will allow you to start the next day fresh, and it will be a great, great day. So now let's talk a little bit about what Covey calls the Core 4 system, and designing that system and using technology and how to bring this all together there. And that's really boiling things down to the 4 areas that most everything we do kind of falls in. It's either going to be an appointment, a task. Appointment could be that meeting, something I need to do, a vendor I need to see, a league officer I need to meet with, a team member I need to meet with, or it could be all those tasks. And you're going to have a big bucket of those tasks. That's going to be probably where most of your items fall. It could be a contact, or it could be notes or document. It could be something that you need for future reference, whatever that looks like. So how do you manage that workflow there? Once you identify your Q2 roles and goals, and you do that 30-minute planning that we talked about, and then you break it down to that daily planning, now comes the incoming work, and that's going to be a fire hose. It's coming in quick for all of us. But we have that moment of choice. We have to make a choice what we're going to do with it. So we have to pause, clarify, and decide where does this fit in? And is it important? If it's not, if it really is just something that falls in that Q3 or Q4, then we just got to trash it, right? We got to delete it if it's an email. We've got to throw it away if it's a paper. We've just got to tell someone that, look, this is not important right now. Many cases, it's going to be yes. So then we have to go to that next level. What do we do with it? If it's a contact, if it's a note or a document or something I need for later, then I've got to file it. I've got to decide what that looks like in my filing system. Otherwise, it could be something I need to act on. Is it an appointment or is it a task? So don't get overwhelmed. Everything we do within the day is going to be something I need to act on or something I'm going to need to file for later because I don't want to deal with it right now. And that doesn't mean piling up on your desk where, or leaving it in your email inbox where you've got 4,000 unread emails. It means acting on those and then filing those where it's appropriate. And it's really powerful. And then it goes back through the cycle. And I love having this out. I love having this as a memory jogger to really kind of help me think through all those things that come in. And you really can. You'd be surprised how many things that you think you need to hold on to that you really can delete, and that while you have a lot coming in, it can be overwhelming. The reality is that I can really break it into one of those 4 areas. And then the last thing I'd like to chat with you about is kind of how do you manage the workflow there, right? We've got a lot of technology today. You see you've got my little icon guy there that has all the latest technology. That I like to refer to that as Gerald on our team, on the education team. He's the tech wizard. He has all those kind of things that are out there now to make you more productive. And I'm a little more old school. I am a little more pen and paper guy, trying to migrate over and integrate some of that technology. But whatever you do, you still need to just manage it, whether you're old school or whether you're using some of the technology. You just got to manage it. So if you think about these areas here, and we've broken them into our four buckets, we've got to decide, am I going to do this old school like Bart, or am I going to do it more digital like Gerald? So this just happens to be my current productivity chart that I use. So for appointments, I have really graduated. I now have all of those digital, which is a big move for me. So I don't have appointments down on paper and my day timer anymore written. They are all digital. Task, I still, unfortunately, keep things on a notepad, a to-do list, and I have to transfer those over every day. I haven't been able to migrate that over to digital yet. I'm trying, but it still works for me because I still have that written task list. Contacts, I've really migrated those all over to digital as well. That was a big step for me. And then on my documents and notes, I have some things that I still print out and file, so I still have a bit of a manual filing system, but I've gone more and more digital, both at work and at home, with so much things available on the cloud where I'm migrating over to that. And I'm pretty close to being able to take that next step and remove the paper documents and really go all digital in my filings. What's important, folks, is not what you're doing, is that you recognize these four areas and you have a system. There's no right or wrong answer on this. You could still be all paper, you could be all digital. The wrong answer is not having any system and just letting it land where it lands and file where it files and ends up where it ends up. So when managing that workflow, find a system that works for you and just pick whatever is gonna work there, and then just start to think about breaking those things into those four segments. So folks, if you are ready to start ruling your technology and really scheduling those big rocks, then you may want to check out our in-person 5 Choices program by reaching out to us at education@bpa.com. So as we wrap up another edition of The Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. Now this episode, as well as all our previous Profit Break episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your entire team at bowlinuniversity.net. Plus we have new episodes available every month, so mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook to hear about all the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.